Consciousness and the Absolute. The Final Talks of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Part 1. May 1st, 1980. How does a Jnani see the world? A Jnani is aware of the origin and the value of consciousness, this beingness which has spontaneously dawned on him. This same consciousness plays a multitude of roles, some happy, some unhappy. But whatever the roles, the Jnani is merely the seer of them. The roles have no effect on the Jnani. All your problems are body-mind problems. Even so, you cling to that body, since you identify with the body-mind. You follow certain polite modes of expression when you talk. I do not. I might embarrass you. You may not be able to take what I say. I have no sense of propriety. You are bound by your own concepts and notions. Actually, you love only this sense of I. You do everything because of this. You are not working for anybody, nor for the nation, but only for this sense of I, which you love so much. But I like to act, I like to work. All these activities go on, but they are only entertainment. The waking and deep sleep states come and go spontaneously. To the sense of I, you spontaneously feel like working. But find out if this sense of I is real or unreal, permanent or impermanent. The I which appears is unreal. How unreal is it, I have proven. The moment the I is proven unreal, who is it who knows that the I is unreal? This knowledge within you that knows the I is unreal, that knowledge which knows change, must itself be changeless, permanent. You are an illusion, Maya, an imagination. It is only because I know that I am unreal that I know you also are unreal. It is not like this, because I am real, you are unreal. It is like this, because I am unreal. Everything is unreal. Consciousness depends on the body. The body depends on the essence of food. It is the consciousness which is speaking now. If the food essence is not present, the body cannot exist. Without the body, would I be able to talk? Can you do anything to retain this sense of I? As it came spontaneously, so it will go. It will not forewarn you by announcing, I am going tomorrow. A doubt has arisen and you are trying to find the solution. But who is it who has this doubt? Find out for yourself. May 10th, 1980. How did I get to the truth that I prevail everlastingly? By meditating on the meditator, by I amness merging into I airiness. Only then did I understand what my true nature is. The great sages meditated in the same way. Nobody has told me how to do it. I did not seek this knowledge externally. It sprouted within me. I meditated like the sages and saw a vision. Initially there was space, and in the space I saw the principles embodied. Actually they have no bodies, but in my vision they had bodies. I called them Prakriti and Purusha, the male and female aspects of cosmic consciousness. Until the union of Prakriti and Purusha, the dynamic, all-pervading consciousness lay in a dormant state. In the union of the male and female aspects, emissions were planted in the female of these figures. When these emissions merged in the womb, they started taking form. After 9 months of gestation, an infant was delivered. That consciousness, which was planted in the womb, was the causal body, the Lingadeha. In that Lingadeha, the knowledge, I am, was in a dormant condition. This is what I saw in meditation. How did we lose this pure consciousness state? Every being experiences the Isvara state, either directly or potentially, but he is so wrapped up in the subjective world that he loses his identity. You must know what this I am principle is. It appears spontaneously, and with its appearance begins the riddle of conceptual life. How do I start this search for myself? Start from the very beginning. In this gross world I began with my parents, because I knew full well that my principle was already dwelling there in the collection of their bodily elements, out of which I emanated. But I came to the conclusion that I could not be that principle which came from the mother's body. There is nobody here who is 100 years old. Does that mean that 100 years ago you did not exist? I don't know. The one who said, I don't know, must have been there. In short, you were not like this, but you must have been something. You must comprehend this correctly. 100 years back, I was not like this. So the one pointing this out must have been there. You did and do exist unto eternity. What I'm expounding does not relate to worldly knowledge. You do not want to give up either worldly knowledge or so-called spiritual knowledge, and yet through these worldly concepts, you want to understand the riddle of your existence. And that is precisely why you are not able to understand. In truth, your state is one of absolute bliss, not this phenomenal state. In that non-phenomenal state, you are full of bliss, but there is no experience of its presence. In that state, there is no trace of misery or unhappiness, only unalloyed bliss. What am I talking about? Ananda, bliss. Because you want some satisfaction according to your own concepts, you try to qualify unalloyed bliss. The term Ananda has significance only when it signifies that the bodily beingness is available to experience it. When you are in deep sleep and you start to see forms, you're actually dreaming. Aren't those dream forms coming from your own beingness? Whatever you see, even in the waking state, doesn't it come from your own beingness which is dwelling within the body? In deep sleep, consciousness was in a dormant condition. There were no bodies, no concepts, no encumbrances. Upon the arrival of this apparently wakeful state, with the arrival of the concept I am, the love of I am woke up. That itself is Maya, illusion. Does Maharaj mean that the experiencer of the three states is the self? That is the Saguna Brahman state. Because of your beingness, the other states are. The dream world is very old. It is not new. You see old monuments in your dreams. Your beingness is very powerful. The emergence of this beingness itself constitutes time. Everything is beingness. But I, the Absolute, am not that. In meditation there was space, when suddenly two forms appeared out of no form, Prakriti and Purusha, and the quintessence of these forms was the knowledge, I am. There were no forms, then suddenly forms appeared, just as in the dream world. You as a dreamer are sleeping on the bed, but in your dream world you see a body and you think it is you, and you are doing everything through this dream body. In that same way, bodies are created in the so-called waking state. The Prakriti and Purusha state has no form and is eternal, having neither a beginning nor an end. But from it come the five elements, and with them simultaneously the body is formed at the moment that time is first experienced. This process is ever continuing, with the body form merely indicative of the opportunity to experience time. This explanation will not reach home to everyone. At the moment of so-called death, with what identity would you like to depart? As Parabrahman. The Absolute, which I call Parabrahman. What is it like? What you are doing is multiplying words with words, concepts with more concepts. Maharaj must take me out of this. Can you define what you are? I must have your blessing to understand what I am. You are very adept at word games. While I am talking about knowledge that is beyond this phenomenal world, you are trying to understand through worldly concepts and words. Give up all these concepts and inquire into the nature of your beingness. How did you happen to be? Ponder it. The real blessing of the Guru comes when your knowledge itself sprouts inside you. May 14th, 1980. Doctors have diagnosed that this body has cancer. Would anyone else be as joyful as I am with such a serious diagnosis? The world is your direct experience, your own observation. All that is happening at this level, but I am not at this level. I have dissociated myself from sattva guna, beingness. The ultimate state in spirituality is that state where no needs are felt at any time, where nothing is useful for anything. That state is called nirvana, nirguna, that which is the eternal and ultimate truth. The essence and sum total of this whole talk is called Sat Guru Parabrahman, that state in which there are no requirements. After the dissolution of the universe, when no further vestige of creation was apparent, what remained is my perfect state. All through the creation and dissolution of the universe, I remain ever untouched. I have not expounded this part. My state never felt the creation and dissolution of the universe. I am the principle which survives all creations, all the dissolutions. This is my state and yours too, but you don't realize it because you are embracing your beingness. Realizing it is only possible when one gets support from invincible faith, from that eternal Satguru Parabrahman. This state, this Parabrahman principle, is eternal and is also the Satguru. It is the eternal property of any devotee of a guru. July 29, 1980. Why did this consciousness arise? You are both the question and the answer. All your questions come from your identification with the body. How can any questions relating to that which was prior to the body and consciousness be answered? There are yogis who have sat in meditation for many, many years seeking answers to this question, but even they haven't understood it. And yet you are complaining. It is a great mystery. It is a mystery only to the ignorant. To the one not identified with the body, it is no longer a mystery. Maharaj cannot convey it to us? I keep telling you, but you don't listen. Does Maharaj see us as individuals? There are no individuals. There are only food bodies with the knowledge I am. There is no difference between an ant, a human being, and Isvara. They are of the same quality. The body of an ant is small, an elephant's is large. The strength is different because of the size, but the life force is the same. For knowledge, the body is necessary. How did Maharaj get the name Nisargadatta? At one time I was composing poems. Poems used to flow out of me, and in this flow I just added Nisargadatta. I was reveling in composing poems until my guru cautioned me. You are enjoying composing these poems too much. Give them up. What was he driving at? His objective was for me to merge in the absolute state instead of reveling in my beingness. This was the way I realized knowledge, not through mental manipulation. My guru said, "This is so," and for me, it was finished. If you continue in the realm of intellect, you will become entangled and lost in more and more concepts. Consciousness is time flowing continuously. But I, the Absolute, will not have its company eternally because consciousness is time-bound. When this beingness goes, the Absolute will not know I am. Appearance and disappearance, birth and death, these are the qualities of beingness. They are not your qualities. You have urinated and odor is coming from that. Are you that odor? No, I am not. This beingness is like that urine. Can you be that beingness? Absolutely not. You require no more sadhana. For you, the words of the Guru are final. October 5th, 1980. I have no individuality. I have assumed no pose as a person. Whatever happens in the manifest consciousness happens. People identify me with their concepts, and they do what their concepts tell them. It is consciousness which is manifest, nothing else. Who is talking? Who is walking? Who is sitting? These are the expressions of that chemical I am. Are you that chemical? You talk about heaven and hell, this Mahatma or that one, but how about you? Who are you? In meditation, one sees a lot of visions. They are in the chemical, the realm of your consciousness, are they not? All these things are connected only to that birth chemical. You are not this chemical I am. Spiritual knowledge should not be studied. It is knowledge derived from listening. When the listener hears it and accepts it, something clicks in him. This I amness is otherness. It is an expression of duality. November 8th, 1980. Why is it that we naturally seem to think of ourselves as separate individuals? Your thoughts about individuality are really not your own thoughts. They are all collective thoughts. You think that you are the one who has the thoughts. In fact, thoughts arise in consciousness. As our spiritual knowledge grows, our identification with an individual body-mind diminishes, and our consciousness expands into universal consciousness. The life force continues to act, but its thoughts and actions are no longer limited to an individual. They become the total manifestation. It is like the action of the wind. The wind doesn't blow for any particular individual, but for the total manifestation. As an individual, can we go back to the source? Not as an individual. The knowledge I am must go back to its own source. Now, consciousness has identified with the form. Later it understands that it is not that form and goes further. In a few cases it may reach the space. Very often there it stops. In a very few cases it reaches its real source, beyond all conditioning. It is difficult to give up that inclination of identifying the body as the self. I'm not talking to an individual, I am talking to consciousness. It is consciousness which must seek its source. Out of that no-being state comes the beingness. It comes as quietly as twilight, with just a feel of I am, and then suddenly the space is there. In the space, movement starts with the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. All these 5 elements are you only. Out of your consciousness, all this has happened. There is no individual. There is only you. The total functioning is you. The consciousness is you. You are the consciousness. All the titles of the gods are your names. But by clinging to the body, you hand yourself over to time and death. You are imposing it on yourself. I am the total universe. When I am the total universe, I am in need of nothing, because I am everything. But I cramped myself into a small thing, a body. I made myself a fragment and became needful. I need so many things as a body. In the absence of a body, do you and did you exist? Are you and were you there or not? Attain that state which is and was prior to the body. Your true nature is open and free, but you cover it up. You give it various designs. November 9th, 1980. Should the type of dispassion which Maharaj is teaching us be taught to children? No. If that's done, they'll have no ambition to grow further. They must have certain ambitions, certain desires for their proper growth. The one who has fully investigated himself, the one who has come to understand, will never try to interfere in the play of consciousness. There is no creator with a vast intellect as such. All this play is going on spontaneously. There's no intellect behind it. So don't try to impose yours to bring about any change. Leave it alone. Your intellect is a subsequent product of this process. So how can your intellect take charge of or even evaluate the whole creation? Investigate yourself. This is the purpose of your being. Spirituality is nothing more than understanding this play of consciousness. Try to find out what this fraud is by seeking its source. November 12, 1980. The I Amness, the manifest Brahman, and his Vara are all only one. Ponder over this and realize it. This is a rare opportunity, one where all has been explained in great detail, so take full advantage of it. You are the manifest Brahman. I have told you many times what your true state is, but through force of habit you again descend into body identification. A stage has now arrived at which you must give up this bodily identification. The bodily activities will continue until the body drops off, but you should not identify with them. How are we to do this? You can watch the body, so you are not the body. You can watch the breath, so you are not the vital breath. In the same way, you are not the consciousness. But you have to become one with the consciousness. As you stabilize in consciousness, dispassion for the body and for the expressions through the body occurs spontaneously. It is a natural renunciation, not a deliberate one. It does not mean that you should neglect your worldly duties. Carry these out with full zest. Shouldn't we rediscover the freedom of the little baby from the body? Understand the source of child. The child is a product of the sperm of the father and the ovum of the mother. Consciousness is there in the child as it is in the parents. It is always the same consciousness, whether in the child or the adult. There is only one consciousness. You must become one with and stabilize in that consciousness. Then you transcend it. That consciousness is your only capital. Understand it. To what extent do you know yourself? I have held the feet of Satguru. Beyond that, I don't know anything. You must do that, but you should understand the meaning of feet of Satguru. Understand that as movement begins with the feet, so movement begins from knowingness to knowingness. When the knowingness occurs, that is Satguru movement. Go to the source for that movement, where the I Amness begins. The effort of the one who has arrested that movement will not go to waste. Holding the feet of the Satguru is the borderline between knowingness and no-knowingness. November 17th, 1980. Don't we have to discard all knowledge? You must have a thorough knowledge of this consciousness, and having known everything about the consciousness, you come to the conclusion that it is all unreal, and then it should drop off. Having listened to these talks, sit and meditate. That which I have heard, is it true or not? Then you will understand that this is also to be discarded. The principle which can pass judgment on whether the world is or is not, that principle antedates the world, that by which everything is known, whether it is or is not. Who knows this? When I say Para-Brahman, then you say that you understand. Names are merely an instrument for communicating. Do you understand what I am driving at? The Jnani knows that this is all an illusion, that there is no path. But if from within the illusion one is convinced that there is a path, and there's somewhere to go, does it make sense to use techniques to get to that further illusion? Illusion, is it a word or not? It is a word that relates to a concept. That is a name only, is it not? Yes. So what illusory word do you want that will satisfy you? November 18th, 1980. My present outlook is without limitation, total freedom. Ultimately, one must go beyond knowledge, but the knowledge must come, and knowledge can come by constant meditation. By meditating, the knowledge I am gradually settles down and merges with universal knowledge, and thereby becomes totally free, like the sky or space. Those who come here with the idea of getting knowledge, even spiritual knowledge, come here as individuals aspiring to get something. That is the real difficulty. The seeker must disappear. When you know your real nature, the knowledge I am remains. But that knowledge is unlimited. It is not possible for you to acquire knowledge. You are knowledge. You are what you are seeking. Your true being exists prior to the arising of any concept. Can you, as an object, understand something that existed prior to the arising of a concept? In the absence of consciousness, is there any proof of the existence of anything? Consciousness itself is mind, is thought, is all phenomena, all manifestation. Apprehending this is being dead to I am the body, while alive. This kind of knowledge comes only in a rare case, and is a very elusive kind of knowledge where no effort is necessary. In fact, effort itself is a hindrance. It is intuitive understanding. Then should all spiritual disciplines be dropped? At the highest level, this is so. At the earlier levels, you have to do your homework. Those who are able intuitively to grasp this lose their interest in worldly affairs. Having lost it, what will they get? Whatever they have lost, they will have lost as an ordinary person. But what they get in return will be fit for a king. Those who have comprehended and who have reached a certain stage will not ask for anything, but everything will come to them spontaneously. There will be no wish for it. Nevertheless, it will be there. This does not happen for an individual. It happens for the universal manifestation, or for the one who has become one with his true nature. For the Jnani, only witnessing is taking place. November 20th, 1980. The principle which can know itself is in the organism. In the worm crawling, it is there, because the worm knows itself instinctively. By listening to my talks, you will be transformed back to your original state, prior to your birth. Right now, in spite of your present life, it will happen. My present talk is quite different now, at a higher level. Therefore, I do not invite anybody to listen to my present talks. I recommend that nobody should come and listen because they will develop a dispassion for their family or daily life. Language energy and vital breath energy should merge and stabilize. Otherwise, if you allow them to go outward, they will be dissipated. If you want peace, stabilize at that point where you started to be. Stay put there. Om is the unstruck sound, the unpronounced word. You don't respond to my talks. You have not been able to perceive the nature of your consciousness. Consciousness is something like the drama of a play acting. You are unsupported. You have no support at all. The birth, the parents, all this is illusion. Taking the body as oneself is an accident. If you don't cling to the body as your identity, everything is all right. When beingness forgets itself, that state is Parabrahman. This knowingness is not your true state. It is the outcome of the food essence body, and you, the Absolute, are not that. November 21st, 1980. Whatever I had thought earlier has now changed. What is happening now is that even the slightest touch of individuality has completely disappeared, and it is consciousness as such which is spontaneously experiencing. The result is total freedom. All the time there was complete conviction that it was consciousness which was experiencing, but that I which the consciousness was experiencing was there. Now that has totally disappeared. Therefore, whatever happens in the field of consciousness, I, who am there before consciousness, am not concerned in any way. The experiences of consciousness experiencing itself. Nevertheless, understand what consciousness is. Even if consciousness is not an individual, The basis and source of consciousness is in the material. What I say is still in the conceptual world, and you need not accept it as truth. Nothing in the conceptual world is true. Once the disease was diagnosed, the very name of the disease started various thoughts and concepts. Watching those thoughts and concepts, I came to the conclusion that whatever is happening is in the consciousness. I told the consciousness, "It is you who are suffering, not I." If consciousness wants to continue to suffer, let it remain in the body. If it wants to leave the body, let it. Either way, I am not concerned. All kinds of things were happening, thoughts and experiences, and they were credited to my account. But once I have seen what it is, all those account books have been burned, and I no longer have any account. How amusing it is to see someone who thinks of himself as an individual who thinks of himself as a doer or achiever. Whatever is happening, and the experiencing of that happening, takes place in this consciousness when the I Am arises. November 24th, 1980. If there is no difference between what is prior to birth and what is after death, there is no difference. Is there any reason for attempting to learn who we are now? Isn't it all the same? The light coming from the sun and the sun itself. Is there any difference? The only difference is what happens in the middle. Whatever happens between birth and death is also an expression of the consciousness only. Even in the realm of consciousness, you pass the time entertaining various concepts. What else are you doing? Is Maharaj playing with various concepts? No, it is consciousness. It plays by itself. Does Maharaj's consciousness play even though he is detached from it? Consciousness is not private property. It is universal. Though we understand this, sometimes it seems confined to a body. You are trying to understand with the intellect. Just be. When I tell you that you are that dynamic, manifest knowledge, you are everything. What else do you want? I am aware that I came here because Maharaj gives me the mirror, but this time he is showing me that I am my own mirror. That is why you should not stay for long. After we leave here, what are we to do? It is up to you. If you abide in consciousness, everything will be happening spontaneously. If you are still at body-mind level, you will think that you are doing something. If you really abide in what I say, you become one with yourself. Then people will be serving you. They will fall at your feet. Whatever is necessary for you will happen. Activities are bound to happen. Consciousness can never remain inactive. It will always be busy. That is its nature. When you come here, you have certain expectations, certain aspirations. But after listening to my talks, you lose all that. Even when I have an intuitive understanding of this, what is this reluctance to give up all that I am not? You have not stabilized firmly in that understanding. Your conviction should be such that no question should arise in the future about that. For example, a person is dead and has been cremated. It is all over. Is there any question about that? Like that, it will be all over. What effort do I need to make toward that? Effortlessly, just be. When the consciousness fully understands the consciousness, will it embrace the body as itself? It is in totality. It is not going to pick out a fragment of the manifestation and say, I am this. The consciousness expresses itself as does light. This five-elemental play is the manifestation of consciousness, the effulgence of consciousness only. The play of the five elements will finally merge into the consciousness because it is an outcome of the consciousness. November 25th, 1980. People come here and stay for days, weeks, even months. The first few days, what they have heard takes root, and that is when they should leave, so that what has taken root will have time to grow and blossom. As soon as the seed takes root, they must go. What has taken root must bloom, must express itself within each heart. Maharaj has said in this respect that the teachings were his gurus, but the understanding was his. My guru told me that consciousness alone is the guru. All other developments sprouted within me. The fruit should grow on your own plant. I should not sow my understandings in you. I have no use for traditions or traditional knowledge. If you do the slightest research on tradition, you will see that it is all a concept. I am concerned with only one fact. Here I was, in my wholeness, not even aware of my awareness. Then suddenly this consciousness sprang up. How did it come about? That is the question which needs investigating. One must understand how clever this fraud of Maya is. First it shows us our body and makes us believe that we are the body. But the body is nothing but a speck of fertilized sperm. And in that sperm, the consciousness is latent. You see what a fraud it is? The essence of the body is the essence of the foodstuff, and this consciousness lies dormant in it from the very beginning. In that consciousness is the entire universe. Having seen this, whoever has understood is bound to be quiet, knowing that this is only a transient happening. An enormous structure of concepts being taught to us as knowledge is based on the simple appearance of consciousness. December 5th, 1980. This sickness gave the confirmation that there is no personality, no individual. Sickness to whom? Sickness is part of the functioning of the entire manifest dynamic Chaitanya. It is the play of consciousness. My true state is prior to consciousness. That state does not depend on the consciousness. There is a couplet we sang at bhajans to Chakrapani. Chakrapani means the I amness, the life principle, the manifest principle. It is like this cigarette lighter. The gas as such has no light, but its manifestation is the flame. It is full of light, life, energy. Even in the atom and subatom, that energy is there. The functioning of consciousness takes place spontaneously, and one does not know what will happen. For instance, I say something and M will translate it one way, B will translate it another, in whichever way they have understood it. This is the way the process will go. This Chakrapani is like a flywheel. Lord Krishna said, rotating all beings. That energy which moves all things in the waking state is latent in deep sleep. How long is one unaware of awareness? One doesn't know. But suddenly consciousness arises. Does anyone think along these lines? Is it not amazing that consciousness, which might remain latent for any length of time, suddenly arises spontaneously? Is universal consciousness ever aware of itself as universal consciousness? Or does it become aware only when there is a form? Awareness is not aware of its awareness. If you get too much involved in what I am saying, you will throw away the books you are writing, everything. I will finish the books, then I am finished. To Jean Dunn, you have promised me that you will complete the books. Universal consciousness will not write the books. How will you write the books? It will happen spontaneously. December 8, 1980. I am talking about the consciousness which works through this body at the moment, but which is not visible. This consciousness is not limited to the body, but is universal consciousness. I can't speak of anything else now. The person who is already dead is not worried about anything. Whether the people like it or not doesn't matter. Perhaps you may be getting some blessings, some benefits from listening to my talks, I don't know. All my actions are the actions of universal consciousness appearing to work through this body. I do not remember something from the past and then act. It is all action in the now. Where does the consciousness come from? It never comes or goes, it just appears to have come. Why does Maharaj know this and we do not? It is not difficult for you to know also, but with what identity are you asking? Is it karmic? Can karma be changed? It is all consciousness working, not this one or that one working. It is all consciousness. Can Maharaj, out of compassion, give me a push into that state of universal consciousness? Yes, of course, I can do that, but you must listen to me. You must have complete faith in whatever I tell you about yourself. and you must behave accordingly. By nature I am non-manifest, yet I am manifested, but I am really not manifested. Can you live like that, as the non-manifest? As long as the attribute is there, the quality of the attribute, the I am, is there. Therefore I can speak like this. If it goes away, what happens? The sense of I has come and has gone. That is all. I am not going to die. One who has rejected this identity will understand. Maharaj said that he is not going to die. How can one who is not born die? When people first learned about this illness, those who have affection for me came to talk to me or wrote to me giving advice and medicine. Whatever is to happen will happen. I have no interest. I don't have fear, so I don't have to do anything. It is quite in order that those who have affection for me write and come to discuss things with me. I don't listen to them, and that is also quite in order, because I am not afraid of anything. You are asking, who am I? And you are not going to get an answer, because the one who will get the answer is false. You may have an idea, a concept, and you will think you have found yourself. But it is only a concept. You can never see yourself. What is Sat Chitananda? It is words. You can take it that Sat Chitananda is the limit which your mind can describe of that state which cannot be described. Your true state is non-manifest. The manifestation comes and the words come. The one who experiences Sat Chitananda is there before the experience. December 15th, 1980. Consider the status you have reached if you are able to understand what I say. And if you have understood, there will be no status at all. Your worth cannot be measured. You have done all your homework, and now your sadhana, or spiritual practice, is bearing fruit. Now you are here. Let it grow in you. You don't have to go to anybody else after you leave this place. That part of the work has already been done by you. Because you are worthy of that state of realization, you are here today. Get to know that I am, without words which arise in the morning. Knowing the self, abiding in the self-knowledge, is not a mere intellectual knowing. You must be that, and you should not move away from it. Remain firm. Do not consult others about the advice I have given to them. Abide in what I have told only you. Kill that curiosity to know what others are told. To each seeker the appropriate advice is given. Unless you abide in your own true nature, you will not be able to gauge the depth of another's nature. When you try to understand others, the self-effulgent nature of oneself should open up completely. You will know yourself in the process. The knowledge being expounded here, you will not find in any books. Now, having given you so much, you may see me tomorrow, or you may not. That is immaterial. But don't forget what I have told you about yourself. December 18th, 1980. This consciousness is like a screen, and I am the screen. Understand what I say without concepts. You are adding new concepts. Now go to zero concepts. There are many spiritual seekers whose aim is to acquire sufficient merit to reach a certain place, such as heaven or Vaikuntha. I have had no aims except to find out. I was not aware of my awareness, and suddenly I became conscious that I am. Where and how did this consciousness arise on me? That was my inquiry, going back to that state when the presence of phenomena was not there. That is original knowledge of the original self. So I went back, tracing this original self, and I reached a stage where I wanted to know what my state was before this consciousness arose. That is the destination which I have reached. Brahman is Vara. God, all these are names given to the consciousness when it is conscious of itself. If you have properly understood this knowledge, what will be your position at the moment of so-called death? It will be watching what is happening. This consciousness gradually loses everything, and ultimately consciousness is no longer conscious of itself. That state cannot be described. It is called Parabrahman, the Supreme Absolute, but that is only a name for communication purposes. This line of inquiry started when I noticed that from the moment one wakes up until one falls asleep, one is very busy doing something or other. What is it that compels us to do these things? Because of what does this go on? Then I came to the conclusion that it is my beingness, the fact that I am conscious of existing, which is working throughout the day. That was how my inquiry started. In the body, the indwelling principle is the consciousness. Abiding in the consciousness, it became all manifestation. Now, transcendence of the consciousness has also occurred. With the appearance of consciousness, the Absolute knows it is I am. This is the experience. There are other experiences now in this time factor, but experiences are gradually dropping off, including this primary experience, I am. It is only the consciousness that is going to disappear. The Absolute is always there. What a fall! The perfect state caught up in these experiences and trying to derive certain benefits out of the experiences. Is it spontaneous? Yes. Whatever experiences were happening in this field of knowingness, the ultimate principle got caught up in that. It accepted some experience as itself. Accepting experiences as the truth, it gets more and more involved. December 22nd, 1980. Just now, I was lying down in the waking state, but with no perceiving or receiving of any words, something like a prior to word state. Now the last traces of personality or individuality have left me. Last year I used to talk to people with a certain affection, but that is not available now. My dwelling place in the grosser world is gone now. Presently it is in the subtler sphere, as in space. The effect of these talks is that you will stabilize in the very source from which the words sprout. Abiding in the dynamic, manifest consciousness is abiding in the words of the Guru. The meaning of the mantra I have given you is that you are the manifest, dynamic principle, not the body. When you abide in that, you become that. People think that they are coming here of their own volition, but it is the consciousness which is bringing them here, because the consciousness wants this knowledge. My talks are addressed to the consciousness. You have identified with the body, but you are not the body. It is knowledge which must understand its own nature and merge with the knowledge which is its source. People come here and ask for blessings. They don't understand that the knowledge that one is not the body, but the consciousness within is the blessing. December 25th, 1980. When we are busy with our worldly jobs, what should we keep in mind? Because the I am principle is there, it is moving all over. To recognize it, you put on various uniforms in order to give it an identity. But the principle is already there, and because of that principle you are engaging in various activities. Unless you wear the uniform, the body, you will not be able to conduct any activities. This knowledge is meant for the Isvara principle, which is presently caught up in the illusion that it is the body-mind. You have accepted the identity of the uniform, and that identity becomes your ego. Isvara is the manifest principle by which all activities are carried on. It has no form. The forms are given because of the 5 elemental play. Now that principle gets completely lost in the uniform and is recognized by the uniform only. You have the fear of death because you fear losing your identity, the body. Since the uniform is available to you, by all means use it, but understand that you are not the uniform. What does one do when the uniform gets troublesome? Recede into your own self. Be one with your true self. This I amness enjoys various experiences. it becomes a beggar or a king. Is this body eternal? The body has been changing all during your life. Which identity is you? I identify myself with my body, I know that. Who? I do. Give me a photograph of the meaning of that word I. You can't. That principle has no name or form or shape. My firm conclusion is that whatever is done through the uniform is perishable. It is not going to remain. Which uniform has any permanency? Once you know that you are not the form or the name of that uniform, it is all over. Suppose you have hoarded some 1,000-rupee notes and suddenly the government order comes that they are all invalidated. Once you discard this I amness uniform, what remains is the Parabrahman. That which is eternally current is the Parabrahman. Will Maharaj help me discard my uniform? What is the need? It is not eternal. It never was. We have not discarded ours. That is the problem. Now tell me, when the knowingness was not there, what experiences did you have? That little touch of I amness, and you felt the existence of yourself and the world. How to give up this knowingness? Where's the need? If you accept that uniform as yourself, then the question of giving it up will be there. Give up your identity with the body. Try to know yourself. It is merely knowingness. You cannot perceive that state. You come here because you are ignorant, not because you are knowledgeable. This knowledge I give is only to remove ignorance. December 30th, 1980. I think there should be beauty in the whole manifestation. You should not get involved in what has appeared. Take a tree, the bark, the leaves, the blossoms, the fruit. All have a different nature. If you get involved in the appearance of these, you will lose sight of the source, the tree. Intellectually you have understood, but you have to be one with it. You have to identify with what you have understood. Understand that the seed of this body is the sperm of the father mixed with the ovum of the mother, that it is the seed for the manifestation of phenomena. But I am not the seed. I am not the phenomena. Nor am I the consciousness which is time-bound. The names and forms which you see are consciousness only. Your consciousness is very pure, and that's why you are able to judge. The Atman is colorless, but it is able to judge colors, etc. Your sadhana is over. You have reached this place. This knowledge is for those who have no desires. The self-knowledge is the most precious knowledge. To you who search for the self, I explain this type of knowledge. I lead you to a state where there is no hunger, no desire. Therefore, I am not inclined to invite those who are worried about their possessions and their relations to listen to my talks. When you have knowledge, you see that the consciousness I is all-pervasive, as long as the consciousness is there. But the witness of the consciousness has no I am, and that is your true eternal nature. I love gives rise to great joy, and at the same time there is nothing so miserable as I love. Giving up the body is a great festival for me. What is the worth of all the activities of human beings? It is all entertainment, just to pass time. You get pleasure only when you forget yourself. In deep sleep you have forgotten yourself. That itself is joy. It is the Atman, not the personality, that is drawn to spirituality. I will not expound knowledge in the future. A few words here and there will be all. January 3rd, 1981. Beingness has the quality to become whatever you think of. Whatever concept you feed to the consciousness will provide you with that. Whatever you hold on to intensely, you are bound to be that. That is the quality of your consciousness. You should never think that you are the body. Consciousness is not the body. As a result of the body, the beingness is felt, but beingness is all-pervasive. Consciousness alone feels the expanse of consciousness. But I, the Absolute, am not that. Whatever is known by consciousness, is in the field of consciousness. The consciousness and the knowledge will subside when the food body dies. The Absolute always remains. The seed of knowledge is planted in you by these talks. Now you have to follow it up. You must nurse it, ruminate over it, so that the tree of knowledge will grow. January 4th, 1981. I was pondering what Maharaj said about all consciousness being the same this morning, and for just a few seconds it was as if everything was one and I was behind it. Is this the aim? That is not the aim. It is so. It is there, and it is only because of identity with the body that what is doesn't seem as if it is. Please understand that there is only one thing to be understood, and that is that you are the formless, timeless, unborn. It is because of your identification with the body as an entity that your consciousness, which is universal consciousness, thinks that it is dying. Nobody is dying because nobody was born. The millions of forms are the manifestations of consciousness. It is the millions of forms which get created and destroyed, but universal consciousness itself is unborn and undying. Just imagine if all the millions of forms which have been created were still here. How could other forms be created? It is because consciousness is unborn and undying that the millions of forms get created and destroyed. It is a continuous process. Understand that what you are is this unlimited universal consciousness. Only that in which consciousness manifests itself is limited and is created and destroyed. The total potential of consciousness remains. It is unlimited. You are seeking knowledge from the standpoint of identification with the body and whatever can be grasped by the mind. When this body machine is there, the technique of using it is there, and that is what you are identifying with now. But it is not your true identity. You have no control over it. It has appeared, and it will disappear. I talk to you from the perspective of the universal consciousness, and I know that all bodies are the essence of food and that they will vanish. January 7th, 1981. Every time something happens now, instead of getting involved in it, I am seeing that everything is that I amness. I am experiencing that. Witnessing takes place. There is nothing to be done. It is total freedom for one who does not identify with the body. Everything is happening on its own, and I have no concern with it. If that is so, it means that you have understood everything, and there is no need for you to linger here any longer. Another person. It is different for me. I have to make an effort not to get involved in thoughts when I meditate. It is the nature of the life force to express itself through thoughts and words, so they will keep coming. If you have to make an effort in the beginning not to get involved, make that effort until it becomes effortless. Does the Yoni have a mind and thoughts also? Although thoughts come and go, the Yoni is not concerned. Thoughts will come in consciousness. Witnessing also takes place in consciousness. You must have the conviction that you are consciousness. Thereafter, there is nothing for you to do. Leave it to the consciousness to do what is to be done. Whatever happens, happens spontaneously. Where is the seed of consciousness? In every particle of the juice of the body. In the scriptural books, it is normally given that there are various chakras. Those are available if you want to locate them like that, but according to me, it is throughout the body. What is the difference between the body and consciousness? What is the difference between sugar and sweetness? The sweetness is there in the sugar cane juice. In the body, the sweetness is the knowledge you are, the consciousness. This knowingness is due to what? What is the prerequisite for consciousness? Is it the body? The body is necessary to sustain consciousness. For the body to be, food is necessary, is it not? Yes, If the body does not remain, consciousness will not remain. In the absence of the body and consciousness, what are you? I don't know. Now you want to get some benefit, some advantage for yourself. To whom is the benefit? Consciousness. If you are not the body or the consciousness, then what are you? When you realize the self-knowledge, then the self is released, liberated. Then what? Then you know definitely who you are. That by which you know that also. Is that liberation? Liberation means what? It is no more there. I flick this cigarette lighter on and off. This cigarette lighter is the body. The consciousness is the flame. Now it isn't there anymore. It is liberated. Where is the need to label it in the absence of consciousness? January 8th, 1981. Outwardly you can imitate a Jnani, but the Jnani has no fear. He is the ultimate. The ultimate state is that state in which there is a total end to this body, name and form. When there is no form, shape, color, or name, who is there to ask anything? Whatever happens, you accept it based on your identity with the body, and the body is time-bound. I have experienced that it is not being. What do you understand by the experience? What is the significance of the experience? Is it not an experience of anybody? Any experience occurs where there is a change. If there is no change, there can be no experience. It is not an experience, it is a state of being, non-being. That which you say is and is not. Is it according to words, or is it an experience? I will not play hide and seek with words. That which you are describing, is it an experience or just words? It is likely that you have been influenced by what you have read and heard, and therefore what you are saying is only what you have heard. Is that right, or is what you are saying a practical experience which you have had? I said before, it is not anybody's experience. First I thought I was the body. Then I experienced that I was not the body, but I was the consciousness. Then I got the experience that this consciousness is not really me. And there is no form, no individuality, no nothing. Is that your experience? The experience is that there is no body, nothing, that I am and I am not. What is it that is no longer there? The consciousness of the body. Now there is no center. Thoughts don't come from the center as a body. If thoughts don't come from your center as an individual body, then how do the thoughts come? Do you now identify yourself with the thoughts? Do you think the meaning of the thoughts and you are one and the same? No. What has really transpired? What is the change? The change is that the center in consciousness which was there is gone. The center I am is gone. Tell me something about that center. First there was a center of identification in the body, and now I don't feel that. Now there is no borderline. Now there is no particular entity. I am means the knowledge you are. That is now unlimited. The knowledge I am has no limitation at all. That is right. Thank you. Now I must go. When he talks saying I am doing this or I am doing that, what he means is I am that knowledge of I am. That is consciousness. Because unless the consciousness is there, the body is not. In deep sleep we are not aware of the body. We are aware of the body only when we are awake and the consciousness is there. Therefore, when I say this, I mean that it is this consciousness, which I am, and not the body, which comes later. This sickness is an aspect of consciousness, and I am not the consciousness. I am not the I amness. Whatever sickness is there is in the domain of consciousness. With the aid of consciousness, sickness is being experienced. When I shall be totally in my ultimate state, when this consciousness is finally extinguished, that is my total, perfect state. When will I have no experience of this illness? Just as the sun sets, only when this consciousness sets will there be perfect health or no experience of this sickness. So long as the consciousness is there, the sickness must be experienced. What is my pleasure or happiness? Nothing, other than this knowledge I am, this consciousness. Your idea of knowledge is something you can catch hold of, something you can feel and put into your pocket. This knowledge is not of that kind. When I know that I am knowledge itself, what can I hope to get? January 9th, 1980. What are thoughts? They are the result of previous conditioning which the mind has had. Are the thoughts of the Jnani and the ignorant one different from one another? The difference is that the Jnani has divorced himself from the body-mind. The body-mind thoughts will come and go, but the Jnani is not concerned, whereas the ignorant one gets involved in those thoughts, and the ignorant one considers himself as a name and a form. Should I keep in mind constantly that I am consciousness only? You are consciousness, and consciousness is you, and that's it. It is not necessary to always keep your attention on that fact. When you know that this is your finger, is it necessary to constantly repeat that it is your finger? What is there to be done? When an action must be done or a choice made, how should one make the choice? Just understand that it is not your personal action or choice. Do not get involved as the doer. Why do you get involved in all these concepts? First, find out what you consider yourself to be. Are you an entity? Get that problem solved instead of getting involved in all kinds of concepts. What are you? You cannot understand with your intellect. It is beyond the grasp of the intellect. January 11th, 1981. The spiritual experiences which I have, are they something which should not be there? What is it? It is all entertainment. You are present here, your body, not the result of someone's entertainment. So long as you know that the experiences are only appearances in consciousness, it is all right. Understanding is not a matter of time. If you really apperceive the truth that is simple and quickly grasped, the conscious presence depends on the body, and the body is nothing but the sperm and ovum. So where is this you? This body is like an instrument that says, I am, like an announcer. Presently you think that you are the body-mind, and whatever concepts you have collected are flowing out. When you begin spirituality, you reject the body-mind with, I am not that. Then you come to the I am only, without words. Then you are everything. You are not confined to the body. Because of the instrument of the body, that feeling of consciousness is there, and I, the Absolute, am not that. Having stabilized in the consciousness, the next step is to be in a position to observe the consciousness and all the play that is happening in the consciousness. Just to understand, attachment to the body and to the consciousness is very strong. To get rid of it is very difficult. The birth principle, the chemical around which the body formation takes place, has no form or design and actually didn't exist. That non-existing thing suddenly came into existence. What is the validity of its existence? It is an apparition only. It can't be the truth. That's why I dare talk like this. This is a big hoax, a big fraud, created out of nothingness. Can you create something out of nothing? Whatever I said is securely planted in that birth principle of yours. You cannot extract it. In due course, it will proliferate into knowledge. I don't want life even for a moment, but in that momentary life there are so many lives. I'm not afraid of death. With the death, the imperfection is removed. Consciousness, the stigma of imperfection is gone. What remains is total perfection. There is no guarantee that I will meet you tomorrow, but the reality is that there is no separation at all between you and me, because we are one. Do not imagine any separation. January 12th, 1980. I strike this lighter, and the flame will last as long as the fuel is there. Is there any question of emancipation or awakening for that flame? The body and consciousness which come into being because of the 5 elements, can there be any emancipation for them? The one who is prior to the appearance of the elements is always there. What you are doing is using your mind and intellect, but what I say is not based on the intellect, but rather on whatever comes up spontaneously in consciousness. You try to fix that knowledge which springs spontaneously from consciousness into the structure of concepts you have built out of the mind and intellect. This can never happen. Why do I feel such satisfaction here in Maharaj's presence? Because that need which arises in consciousness and brings you here is satisfied. Some people come here for knowledge. I talk because the words naturally come out. There is no intention behind my talks, that you should get knowledge. Others come here because they are in difficulties. I make no determination that those difficulties should go away, but the fact remains that in many cases they go away. I merely sit here. People come and go. I am not concerned. They come here from long distances because the consciousness feels the need to come here. The individual doesn't come here because of an intellectual decision to come here. Consciousness takes him by the ear and brings him here. My next-door neighbors don't come, but people from all corners of the world come here with a sense of urgency. Why? Well, the first time I came here, Maharaj told me that my I amness was a food product, and that Lord Krishna's consciousness was the same as a donkey's consciousness. I tried to get a reservation out of Bombay that day, but I couldn't get one for a week, and I had to stay. Many talented and well-known people have come here, but they come with great humility. Is there any of them who has knowledge about himself? I am practicing Namajapa. Is that all right? Recite the sacred name, that is all right, but the important thing is to recognize and understand what is the presiding principle by which you know you are, and by which you perceive everything else. You must look at yourself, get to know yourself. The riddle of spirituality cannot be solved by your intellect. At the most, your intellect can provide you with livelihood. Whatever you try to become, that is not you. Before the words come out, before you say, I am, that is you. You must be concerned only with yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. What are you? January 14th, 1981. The ultimate state is that state in which nothing exists. Neither I, nor you, nor manifestation. Can Maharaj describe the ultimate state? Can I cut up my sleep and make a design of it? Disassociate yourself from your body and tell me something about that. Can you describe it? My talks are not meant for normal human beings. The normal person's field of understanding does not go beyond his own body. The one who identifies with the body is the consciousness itself. It mistakenly assumes that it is the body and behaves as if its unlimited potential has been limited by this one single phenomenon. Therefore, with this identification, whatever behavior the consciousness adopts will be limited by the body. The one who understands this ultimate meaning of life gets disassociated from the body and a transformation takes place. The consciousness is universal, universal like the day, universal like the night. To that principle you cannot give a name or a title. Who is the one who knows that there was no day, no night? The consciousness was not there. Day and night, remembering and forgetting, the waking state and the deep sleep state. Are they one and the same thing, or are they separate? The capacity of consciousness is something astounding. I didn't know I was, and then suddenly I knew I am. This I amness is the power of Maya. Is the desire to be free wrong? There is nothing happening. Nobody is bound. Therefore, there is no question of liberation. It is only when one thinks of himself as an individual that he thinks of bondage and liberation. Whatever concepts you have collected in this world are totally useless. Understand that the total manifestation is the child of a barren woman. But having understood this, give full attention to your work, and let that work be done as efficiently as possible. Take good care of this work that you do in the world because it is an orphan. January 17th, 1981. In the consciousness is there doership and also witnessing? Everything is in the realm of consciousness. Are all the actions in the world being done through consciousness? The movement of the 5 elements also? The sum total of the 5 elements is consciousness. It's beautiful to praise this consciousness by consciousness, no? Oh yes, whatever you are, only you know. And the body is only the knowledge, no person. For practical purposes you use various names. In the body, why is this consciousness saying I, you, etc.? Consciousness is one, but it manifests into many, so for practical purposes you say I, you, etc. My consciousness is due to this body, sustained by this body, not other bodies. In your consciousness, all bodies are there. Maharaj said that I am not the body, that the body is in me. If you are an author, a number of books are potentially in your pen. Since when did you realize that you are? When the body and consciousness appeared. The sum total of my spirituality is now nothing. Even the word nothing is not there. So there is no spirituality left. Suppose I do not like my body or even the vital breath. What can I do? The body is there. Vital breath is there. And therefore this I amness is there. They are functioning by themselves. Why should I worry about it? It is having its play. Let it have it. So long as that knowingness, I amness, is there, that attraction will be there for others. The knowingness is the outcome of the food body. When this body is consumed, where is that I amness? There is no such thing as spirituality. Whatever is only this worldly life, in the 5 elemental play. You are nothing better than vegetation. Just as grass is growing, human beings are growing. Will anybody accept this? Birth is a material aspect. If you are yourself alone, that state will not be felt. But if there is a foreign element, only then the suffering starts. On you, the original, this foreign element is imposed. That is why it is suffering. You will not inquire into what you are, because you are intellectuals. You will prepare delicacies out of your intellect, and you will go on eating that. Even in spirituality you employ your intellect. You prepare so many delicacies out of your concepts, and you relish them. Take a hint from what I have said. That you experience the world at all is the result of somebody's fun. Now, that has become the source of misery. Is it possible to be in a wordless state? Can you live without words? Words are very necessary. We are prisoners of our own concepts. Just inquire into that birth principle. You are. Because you are, the father and mother are. It's a simultaneous happening. Because of their action, you are, and at the same time, you have parents. Without their bodies, what are they? Try to understand what they could be without their bodies. Ignore the action because of which you are, and then try to recognize what the parents are. As a result of these 2 presences, there is a 3rd presence, I am. Now will you clear out those concepts of yours about parents? January 20th, 1981. Earlier, the knowledge used to overwhelm me, and I would invite people to listen to the talks. But that time is gone now. Now I don't encourage people. I don't keep people here for very long. I give them a dose of knowledge and send them away. It is most incredible in the guise of that little so-called birth, everything has happened. Not only the I amness, but the whole manifest world has appeared. Is it believable? Actually, I am not, but I feel that I am because of the incident of that birth. When you get this knowledge, you will realize that knowledge of this world and consciousness are not even worth your spit. You can spit it out. It will not be unworthy. I appeal to you with my folded hands. Don't get into spirituality. Whatever knowledge and concepts you are having, only that final spark is to be applied. You have everything. The raw material is already with you. The symbol of birth and death is already removed. The factual state of affairs is open, very clear, but nobody wants to look at it. This is the place where the intellect gets annihilated. I was created and possessed by the 5 elemental ghost, but having stabilized in the Parabrahman, I know what it is and I am out of it. Now, just see how I am possessed by these elemental essences. I am addicted to chewing tobacco. Despite the advice of doctors not to do it, I am still doing it. That is because I am possessed by the essence of these elements. Space is indicative of the world, and in that space, the world is. Space is like an incipient world. The world is not there, but the material of the world is there. From there I start feeling I am. With air, the movement is there. With fire, the heat. With water, all seeds and everything else. And because of that water, the taste is there. But you are dispossessed of these elements because of the Satguru. Satguru, Parabrahman, is all love for no knowingness. Because of your association with this Satguru, it means illumination for you. I don't feel like talking at all. I want to go into a sort of silence. My present talks, if they are really understood, require no more discipline or sadhana. They should click right there and then. At one time there were a number of saints of the highest order. Why was it that suddenly there were so many saints at that period? At that time the devotion was so strong that the very object of meditation would take a complete shape in front of the meditator. Because of that devotional state, the whole atmosphere was imbued with that devotion. Now it is only with the intellect. People are not going to accept anything blindly, because their intellect has become more subtle, like space. They are going to pick and choose to analyze everything. January 24th, 1981. Listen to what I am saying, but do not expect benefit in any way by what you hear, because to benefit there must be an entity, and there is no entity. Since I have had this disease, there has been a slight change in the way I look at things. Earlier I had felt that there was a slight touch of individuality, to the extent that I felt that this universal consciousness was acting through a particular form. Now there is not the slightest touch of any individual form nor functioning. There is now cognition of total functioning as such, but even that will last only so long as the body lasts. In that body there is consciousness, and both are material. In all this there is no question of any entity cognizing anything as separate. Instead, there is a total functioning through various millions of forms. I have identified the disease with the total consciousness. What remains when consciousness goes? Nothing phenomenal remains. The present talks are the culmination or termination of spiritual understanding. The more physical pain is observed, the more it is realized that everything is illusory. Maharaj has reached the destination. We have not. There was a house, and in the house there was a person. Now the person is gone, and the house is demolished. The sum total is whatever appearances you have, whether for a day or for years, it is all illusion. The experiences begin with knowingness. What is the most ingrained habit you have? It is to say, I am. This is the root habit. Words and experiences are unworthy of you. This habit of experiencing will not go until you realize that all this domain of the 5 elements and the experiences in the 5 elements are unreal. This I amness is itself unreal. January 29th, 1981. You must give up identity with the body. Abidance in that knowledge I am, which does not identify with the body-mind, is the spiritual light. Self-love and I am, without words, are the same. The sicknesses may come and go, but the self-love does not go. The realization of the self does not come. Who says that? Without the knowingness, who could say anything? Knowingness must exist because there is something to be known. You have come here with the idea that you are full of knowledge, full of wisdom. So what is your idea of knowledge? You are very seasoned, have roamed about in all corners of the world. I know that I am not full of knowledge. Why do you tell a lie? The books speak of that ultimate joy and fulfillment which is the result of knowledge. You are not going to meet it because you are it. Would you go out to meet yourself? No, I come here. Before you knew you were, did you have knowledge or ignorance? In the absence of consciousness, who could say, I am? You have all gone into quietude. Every thought, every feeling, and consciousness is changing all the time. I cannot be the changing. I am the changeless consciousness which enables thoughts to pass. That is how I understand it. Is it right? How deluded you are! What I am trying to do is to stop identification with the thoughts and feelings and not be possessed by them, as I use them as pointers to the highest consciousness. Then why do you talk? The pointers of your feelings and your thoughts are yourself, and that is consciousness. So consciousness and yourself are one. I want to get away from the pain. The mind is deluding you, is cheating you. So I am the pain, and I should be happy to be the pain? Focus your attention on you are the happiness. Then the pain will diminish. You assume that you have knowledge. You have developed a pride that you have knowledge, so for testing yourself you have come here. I cannot help my pain by repeating that I am happiness. Maharaj speaks from his level. I haven't got that highest happiness to diminish the pain. That is because you are embracing your body as yourself. Exactly, that is why I am using a trick to escape that. Very good. In the later stages, this consciousness is itself the pain. Until you recognize and completely identify yourself with the knowledge I am, you will identify with the body. That knowledge, I am, you do not know her. Some others have no pride that they are knowledgeable. You alone are claiming all the knowledge and pride. Now, how many more days are you going to visit this place? Until the 7th. You have been given answers to your questions. Why should you return? Then these others do not have the knowledge, and that's why they can come back? You speak for yourself. Other people may be more knowledgeable than you. Why do you equate them with you? You have committed a grave offense by equating these people with the level of your wisdom. Take care of yourself. Don't worry about others. How dare you bother about others when you do not fully know yourself? There is some link which binds us together. Never criticize others. January 30th, 1981, a.m. Just as a person continues going to work every day because he wants to receive his wages, so you keep coming here because you want to gain knowledge. Once you have this knowledge, there is no need for you to stay any longer. Until you get the knowledge, you don't want to leave. Nevertheless, the only ones who should stay are those who feel a great urgency to know. So that means that you can go away now. I do not want casual seekers to stay here anymore. The only ones who should stay now are those who have a real anxiety about progressing spiritually. Those who are earnest seekers. If you are an earnest seeker, you should accept my words as the truth or you should leave, as I do not want merely to entertain you. And what am I telling you? You are not the body. You are the conscious presence. Accept it, and you can forget it. In future, I will not be able to go into the problems of each one of you. I will simply tell you, this is false or this is true. You can accept what I say or you can leave. I don't have the capacity to accept what Maharaj has given me. If you don't think you have the capacity, then you can go elsewhere. I'm not concerned with any state which is temporary. This consciousness state is not of my choosing. The sooner it goes, the better. Once it is known what is temporary and what one's original state is, no further knowledge is needed. As soon as consciousness stirred, space and time came. It has a time limit. In this space-time, everyone suffers, so why should I accept this suffering as something unique? I was always in that blissful, complete, total state. Suddenly, I am in this imperfect state. Those who have perceived my knowledge will not fall a prey to the logic or spirituality expounded by others. I dare to say to any scholar who considers himself full of wisdom that when he was being born, I was watching his birth from a corner. Would you accept this? Yes. Why did consciousness arise at all? Hang on to this consciousness which has come, and it will explain why it arose without cause. No one can explain it to you, why and how it arose. It is the manifest consciousness which is continuously talking. I am not talking. Now does the language emerge? Is it because of your efforts? If you grasp the essence of the talks which I am giving, you will illuminate the world. Those people who run about from place to place aimlessly will gather nothing. What is that you are after? Eknath, a country sage who has written wonderful poems, said, I am stung by a scorpion. What is that sting? It is consciousness. This knowingness is the scorpion which is giving me all the pain in the form of various experiences and concepts. I am telling you with the authority of a Jnani, everything is unreal. This is all the play due to your consciousness, and your consciousness is due to the food essence body. I am grateful to my body which has brought me here. You have come here just to commit suicide. January 30th, 1981, p.m. A real spiritual seeker ponders over these things all the time. When I have no body, what am I? What is the ultimate reality? The absolute state cannot be explained by words. Words are only pointers. You are that absolute, unchanging. Consciousness or the knowingness is homogeneous and one only. When you are in that state of consciousness, it is all one, all the same. Only the expressions are different. Everything which gets consumed, exhausted, is unreal. Your knowingness will, in due course, be consumed, will disappear, so it cannot be real. But you can't just dismiss it. You must understand it fully. Presently there are an infinite number of items in your associations with this world because you have the association of the vital breath. Suppose that vital breath goes. What will happen then to all your associations with the world? This knowledge which has been expounded will not go to waste. Many people have taken advantage of it. The time will come when they will be enlightened also, and they will expound knowledge. A Jnani's state remains the same with or without the body. You should meditate. You should not lose what you have learned. When one disidentifies with the body, one transcends not only the body, but consciousness as well, since consciousness is a product of the body. The consciousness no longer says, I am, I am. January 31st, 1981. I deal with only two things. What is your identity? And what is your conviction about what you are? These questions cannot be discussed with everyone. I can speak of them only with those of you who are in earnest. There are those who have a lot of wisdom but have not solved the riddle of I amness. Scientists have discovered in the last 10 years that if they don't observe the reactions of the atomic particles, the reactions remain as they are. If they do observe these reactions, there is a change. The very act of observing causes a change in that which is observed. The observer is also changing. What is being observed brings about a change in the observer, and unless that change is brought about in the observer cannot observe the object. Therefore, one can never get to the depth of spirituality. When you are cognizing something as an individual, where do you place yourself? Consciousness is that which is cognizing, the cognition, and that which is being cognized. You are only scratching the surface. It can't do you any good at all. What you hear must enter you like an arrow and hit something deep within you. There must be an internal reaction. Without the reaction, what you hear won't do you any good. You should know it when the arrow reaches its mark. February 5th, 1981. It is very difficult to give up this attraction to the bodily identity. You have to find out what this body is. Then the job is done. Initially, the body is very minute. The consciousness appears in the body, and then the tiny body changes into a large one. That causal body, which is very minute, needs to be known. By meditation, you can know it. The quality of that causal body takes on the appearance of the consciousness and the form. In this world, there are many species in all sizes. Initially, what was the size of each variety? At the point where you first feel knowingness, consciousness is not static. It is a continuous state, just like a wheel moving. The center of the wheel, the axle, is not moving. As you proceed from the center of the axle outwardly, the movement increases, does it not? Similarly, the beginning of consciousness is like the center of a wheel. That point is steady, constant. In a human being, that is the most constant principle. Since the day I was born until I am dead, that consciousness principle is there, at the center. As you merge into the world, the movement increases. Watch that center point. Watch that movement of consciousness. Chaitanya and Chetana. That central stationary point of the wheel watches the movement of consciousness. The one that observes the movement is almost stationary. To bring about the actions of the world, the movement, consciousness must descend. If there is no consciousness, there is no worldly movement. Similarly, you must become stabilized in a more stationary position near the center. When you leave that center point, the movement takes over. February 7th, 1981. I am becoming more aware of my I amness as a product of the food body. You must be that principle prior to the emanation of the word I. Suppose I get a prick here. The principle prior to the emanation of words knows there was a prick. Prior to the words and feelings, you are. How is it possible to know and feel that absolute? This knowingness or understanding is in the realm of consciousness. Whatever you say that you know and feel is consciousness only. The absolute is beyond this. In practice, how can we go further? Deal with the consciousness only. Get to know it thoroughly. That is all that can be done. Later on, everything happens spontaneously. Doership goes. Know the inside out of consciousness and recognize it as useless. It is a fraud. When you transcend it, you will say, I can manage without this. This is imperfect. Therefore, meditate in order to know the consciousness. I have never been able to meditate. When you were unaware of this message of I am, how did you function? The questions I put, nobody can answer. All of you great scholars, people with a lot of knowledge, have gone into quietude. My questions are answered. When your problems are solved, you are also solved. I want you to dwell on that borderline of consciousness, no consciousness. February 8th, 1981. Sometimes I have the feeling of mindlessness. I feel that only I exist. There is only one thing in the world. I don't have to do anything. I simply exist. That state of being has come to all. That is the message I am, without words. Is it possible to remain stable? Change is only in the mind flow. All studies you are doing are in the realm of the mind flow. The sense of I am is present because of your birth, through which you encounter many thoughts and concepts always changing. Presently the message I am is constant. How can one be in that no-mind state? Prior to your birth and receiving the message I am, what were you? That is a mystery. It is open, very clear, but still it is a mystery. Subsequent to that I am in body-mind and in the realm of mind, there occurs what you call spiritual seeking or spiritual knowledge. This is nonsense. In due course, this message, I am, will disappear. How can you say that? What about rebirth? There is no rebirth. In the case of a Jnani, the disappearance of the I am will be termed as niruddha, free from the I am. In the case of an ordinary person involved in mind, the disappearance of the message I am will be expressed as the person is dead and has taken another birth. You can never undertake studies about that no-message state. You are making studies in the mind zone. So, the witnessing is only possible when there are modifications of the mind? Witnessing happens. Remember one thing. I am addressing my talk to the message I am. How can I communicate with the I am? How can I listen? Listening will come spontaneously, just as you wake up spontaneously and fall asleep spontaneously. Don't make any effort. I did not extract my beingness from there and insert it into here. It is happening spontaneously, and therefore I am experiencing it. During these talks you have gotten very angry. This is in the zone of mind modifications. It is not a reflection of your consciousness. The one who understands that anger is the message I am. All your spiritual studies are conducted with your identification with the body-mind. I think so, yes. Unless you identify correctly who you are, how can you identify others correctly? Recognize your real self. How shall I start? Faith in God is one of the sadhanas. The firm faith in the self is not a sadhana. It is abidance. I believe in God, or I do not believe in God. Are these beliefs the same? Who is saying this? What you say will be correct only when you have the conviction that you and God are one. Then you will recognize that there cannot be a God without you. To know yourself is the real knowledge, but you cannot look at yourself. You can only abide in yourself. Give up your attachment to mind modifications. Sometimes it does happen. How can I transcend the mind? Understand that you have no connection with the mind flow. You are apart from it. Be watchful, be alert. A century ago, were you possessed by these mind modifications? No. Remain exactly like that. How can I remain in the I am? It is a stupid question. You are already that. Are you not already the I amness? I can't be free from that. A Jnani has transcended the I amness and only witnesses it. What kind of rule should a man choose for conducting himself in life? This question emanates from your concepts. Throw out your concepts. In the course of your study of spirituality, you have acquired many concepts which you call that knowledge. Do you want me to be embroiled in your concepts? That thought flow is always there, except in deep sleep. Even for the Jnani, the thought flow is present, but the thought has changed. Most people are carried away by the thought flow, but a rare person turns around, goes to the source, and departs from the track of that original thought flow, saying, "It is not mine, not my affair. This I amness is the product of objective material. It is not me. I am out of it." The statements which come out of here will stick to you, and with that sticking, your spiritual job will be done. When you do anything, it is for me, but there is a limit to which that can go, isn't there? The needs are limitless. I meet many people who, in the pursuit of happiness, are always miserable. Rarely do I encounter someone who says, "I am content."